Today we'll be going ahead with strings. So in Python, strings are basically sequence of bytes that represent Unicode characters. We don't have a separate data type for character. A character is just a string with a single of length 1. So how do you declare strings in Python? So you declare strings in Python by enclosing them either in single inverted commas or by enclosing them in double inverted commas. So you can say A is equal to some string and you can say B is equal to some other string. Now when you want to print the strings, you can just do print of A and you can do print of B. So that will print the strings. So as you can see here, A is printed as some string and B is printed as some other string. Now strings are also indexed. So as we know in programming, indexing always starts from 0. So when you do print of A of 0, you can see the output is S. And strings also support negative indexing. So negative indexing is when you start the index from the end of the string. So if you do A of -2, it will start from the end and it will go to the second character. So it prints out N. Now it also says that strings are immutable. That is, once you declare a string, you cannot change any character as such. So if you declare A is equal to Python and you try to change its first index the character at first index to something else, let's say D. When you try to run this, you'll find that there's an error. Which error is? It is that string object does not support item assignment. So once you assign a string, you cannot change it. Now the string class in Python is referred to as a str. So whenever, as you learned in the first lesson, you can print out type of A and you'll find that it gives out the class as str. So you can use this whenever you want to validate any input. Now since we know that strings can be indexed, you can also iterate over the characters. So if you declare A as ISTE and you try to iterate over it for every character in A, you try to print the character and you end it with a /n. So when you run this code, you'll know that it prints ISTE. Cool, so this was the first part. Now the second part is string slicing. So what string slicing is, let's say you want to obtain a part of the string. But since we know it is the string is not mutable, what we do here is we try to slice the string. So the format is something like A of start colon end plus 1. So what this means is whatever the second argument is, the computer won't print the last character, the character at the end. It will just print 1 behind it. So when you try to print A of 0 colon 2, it won't print the character at the second index. It will just print it from 0 and the first index. So as you can see, when we run it, it prints out, except this part, this is the format of it. So when you try to print this out, you can see that it prints out T and E. Similarly, when you want to print out the first 5 characters or the first 6 characters, when you want to print out the first 6 characters, you can just go A of 0 till 6. So till 6, you can see that this will print out the first 6 characters. So the first 6 characters of the strings are from A of 0 to 6. So that prints out test underscore S. Similarly, if you want to print the first 5 characters, there's another way. You can skip the first starting index, because if there is no starting index given, it is assumed to be 0. Similarly, if you skip the ending index, it is assumed to be the end of the string. So that way, if you do 6 colon, you can see the string except the first 5 characters. And since we know that negative indexing is allowed, if you do A of -5 colon nothing, that means the last 5 characters would be printed out. And if you leave out both the start and the ending index, it will print out the whole string. Now there's another operand called the offset or the step. So it specifies the step of slicing. So if you put a print of, if you do print of A, let's say you want to print the first till 4th character, but you want to skip over every first character. So when you try to print this, you'll find that it prints out the first one, let's say we skip every 2 characters. So you'll find that it prints out the first one, it skips one, and it prints out the second one. So it prints E and T. Similarly, if you go from first index till the 9th index and you go every third character, so it'll print out the first character, which is E, it'll skip third one and print the underscore, it'll again skip 3 and it'll print R, and then finally it'll find that the index is out of range, so it won't print anything else. Similarly, when the step is negative, it prints out things in the reverse order. So if you start from the 4th index, go over to 0 plus 1, that is first index, and the step given is -1. So it goes over from the 4th index till the first index in a reverse order, as you can see here. Now this was all about string slicing. Let's go over the concatenation of strings. So strings can be concatenated in Python simply. You can just write any string as ISTE. Let's say you write A as ISTE and you write B as coding. So when you try to print A plus B, you can see that it will print out ISTE coding. And then you print, let's say you have C as Python and you have D as lectures. So when you print this, you'll find out ISTE coding Python lectures. Now this is how you can concatenate strings easily. Now what if you want to find the length of the string? There's an easy method to do that. You can just do L is equal to length of A, and then when you print out the length, you can find that it comes out to be correct. Now there's another thing called escape sequencing. So why is escape sequencing required? So it is required when you want to place special characters. Let's say I want to print let's say I want to print a string and another string in the same print function, but I can't do that, since if I press a enter here, it will create an error. So I can use a /n character for this. If I want to do a string and a tab string, I can't do this I can do this just by this cell, but it's easier to use a /t here. Similarly, if you want to enter single quotes, so for that what you can do is you can just use a slash and a single quote. So when you do a slash and single quote, it knows that it isn't the end of the string and that you just have to print out a single quote. Similarly, you can use the double quotes in the same way. And whenever you want to put a /, you can just do C:\users /del. So you'll print out the slash. Instead, if you use a single slash, you'll notice that it does not come out properly. It'll show an error because it'll try to think that /u is a Unicode character, which it isn't. So you have to use double slashes here. Similarly, you can use /b and /x, which are the other escape sequences. So /b behaves just like a backspace. It'll start printing. It comes to D and it sees a /b, so it just cuts over the D. And /x is hexadecimal. So whatever you write in front of /x, that would be a hexadecimal string, and it would take that as the Unicode character. So 64 is the Unicode for D, so it prints out that. Now let's go over the string formatting. So string formatting in Python can be done using the format method. So what is string formatting used for? Let's say you want to print that I have a string called, let's say I want to print out D as Ram is a good friend of Mahesh. But to do this, I don't have the list of Ram and Mahesh right now. I'll take any two characters from the user and I have to enter them in place of Ram and Mahesh. So how would I do that? What I'll do is, instead of this Ram and Mahesh, I'll just enter two curly braces. And then I can format the names. So when I format, I can just enter any name I want and those will get formatted there. So let's see now, if I try to print D, it should show the correct thing. It's showing Ram is a good friend of Mahesh, which is what we wanted. So let's go over the examples given here. You can see that A is 3 curly braces and then format 1, 2, 3. So what it does is it just take 1 and it inserts it into the first curly braces. It takes 2, inserts it into the second curly brace, takes 3 and inserts it into the third curly brace. Similarly, when you put indexes inside the curly braces, it takes the second index in this list. So it takes the second index, which is 3, puts it here. It takes the 0th index, which is 1, puts it here. Takes the first index, which is 2, and puts it here. So you can see that B comes out to be 3, 1, 2. Similarly, you can do A, B and C, and you can then specify here that C should be substituted with 1, A should be substituted with 2, and B should be substituted with 3. Now formatting of numbers can also be done. So what you do here is, let's say I want to format 32, but I want to print 32 in the binary form. So what I can do is I can format 32 here, and in the curly braces I can write 0:B. So this will take whatever is in the 0 index and convert it to binary. Similarly, I can just take any decimal digit here and I can convert it to the exponential form. So when you run this, you will find that 32 comes out in its correct binary form and 0.0079 comes out in its proper exponential form. Similarly, you can format the decimals also. So if you do 0.079 and you format it to contain only 2 decimal places, so it will automatically round it up to 0.08. Now format method can also be used for defining alignments. So basically, should the alignment be left, it should be right, or it should be center. So this is the format of the format method to align the strings. So in each pair of bases, following the colon, you should write a symbol. So is it a left, is it a center, or is it a right? And then the fields size is specified, like how big is the size, is it a 10 length string or is it a 20 length string. So when you do A is equal to anything, like whatever is in the string, and you put a star, this is basically what will tell you how aligned it is, and you do to the power 10. So this specifies that it should be center aligned, which you can see that it is center aligned. Similarly, if you want the string to be left aligned, you will just do less than 10 and the string comes out to be left aligned. If you want it to be right aligned, you can do greater than 10 and it comes out to be right aligned. Now this is how you can format your string into alignments. Now next, let's go over the split method. So split method is used to split a given string if you are given the separator, as in what character should be used to divide the string, and the maximum number of splits. Those are the two optional arguments for the split method. So if you don't give any input to the split method, it will just split the strings and it will print out Python, s, grade. So it makes out a list from the string, which the default separator is a space. Now if you specify a specific separator, it cuts off. Let's say you write Python is a very great programming language. If you give this as the input for B and you do B dot split of separator as comma, so when you print this, you can find that this time it did not separate at the spaces, rather it separated at the commas. So you can see that the first object is Python, the second is a very, third is great, and fourth is programming language. Now the second optional argument was max split, that is how many number of splits do you want. So this time if you enter the maximum number of splits at 0, it won't split out anything. So this is just one object in the list. Similarly, if you give the splits as a comma and you say that we only want 2 splits, so you can see that it did 2 split and then after that it stopped splitting because the number of max splits already obtained. Now the next is a strip method. So what does strip method do? So strip method returns a copy of the string after removing the characters, the trailing and the leading characters, nothing in between, just the part that is before the string and after the string. So this also takes an optional argument. So if the argument is skipped, only spaces are removed. So let's say A was given as space Python and then another spaces, and when you basically strip it, you can see that it strips out the string Python and you can check the length to see that it's stripped out properly. Now let's say you give the B string as coding is the only way to master coding, and this is the optional argument. So it starts to remove the trailing and the leading characters until as long as they are in the argument. So you can see that C, O, D, I are there in the argument. So it removes, and even NG are there in the argument. So it removes coding and it removes coding. Now if you try to do the next strip, which is C, D, O, G, N, K. So it starts to remove the characters. So it removes C, it removes O, it removes D, but it sees that I isn't there in the string. So it does not remove I. Similarly here, from the behind, it starts G, N, and then it encounters I, which is not there in this argument. So it does not strip anything after that. Now if you do COD KNG is the only way to master coding. You can see that CDONIG, this matches with coding, but it only matches the first three characters of COD KNG. So it does KNG is the only way to master, nothing. Now there are some other string methods that you should know about. So let's go over them one by one. So first one is starts with. This is pretty simple. It just returns true or false depending on whether the string starts with pyt. So since you can see that the string does start with pyt, it returns true. Now it checks does it end with on, and you can see here that it does end with on, so it will again return true. Now let's say B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and some. So if you want to check if B is a digit, you will see that it turns out to be false. When you want to check that the 0 to 6 part of B, is it a substring? Is it a digit? So you can see that it is a digit. So you print out true. Similarly, you want to check if it is a alpha. So is alpha, just checks does the string contains of only alphabets or not. So we are checking this first on A, and you can see that A contains only alphabet. Now let's say I wanted to check does B contain alphabet or not. So checking B dot is alpha. Now we do know that it does not contain only alphabets. So when you do B dot is alpha, you know that this is gonna return false. So let's say we do B dot is alpha, and you can see that checking B dot is alpha returns false. Similarly, if you can check is all num. So is all num means that the string has alphabets and numbers, and that is true in case of B. Now you write C as C space C++. So is all num again checks does the string have only alphabet and numbers, but you can see that it will return false because it also has special indexes. Now there's another method which is known as the index method. So let's say my string is ISTE coding series, and I want to find what is the index of series. So what I'll do here is I'll print index of series is, and I'll go with d dot index of whatever I want to find the index of. So I'll do d dot index of series. So you can see that index of series is 12. So it starts at the 12th index, which when you count would come out to be true. Similarly, you can also find it here in the B subcase. Now what does swapping case mean? So swapping case means whatever is in uppercase will get turned over to lowercase, and whatever is in lowercase will get turned over to uppercase. So you can see that d dot swap case. Let's show how it works. See, so d dot swap case, IST was in cap, so it turned to be small. C was in capital, so it turned out to be in small, and rest was in lowercase, so it turned out to be in uppercase. Now if you want to replace some string, let's say I want to replace ISTE, I want to replace coding series with Python series. So I want to replace coding with Python. So what I'll do here is print, let's say I want to replace coding with Python. So what I can do to do this is d.replace. So it takes two arguments. One is what you want to replace and the second is what you want to replace it with. So I want to replace coding and I want to replace it with Python. So let's see if this gives out the correct output. See, so I replaced coding with Python and it says IST Python series now. So it gives out the correct output. Now let's say you have a list and you want to join the list to be a string. So let's say I have the list as IST is teaching. Let's say I have this list and I want to join them. So what I'll do is I'll just write another variable is equal to whatever you want to join it from, that is the first thing, which string you want to join it from, and then dot join. So this dot is the separator between all the strings. So this is what it will be joining with. You'll know in a minute. So if I now print f, you can see that it prints out ist dot is dot teaching. So this is what replaces the gap between them. So it prints out ist, then it prints out a dot is dot teaching dot. So it joins this way. Similarly, if I want to lowercase anything or if I want to uppercase anything, I can do that with this. So if I do print f dot upper, so you can see that is teaching was in lowercase and it turns out to be in uppercase. Now if I convert this to lowercase, if I do f dot lower, you'll know that it will come out to be ist is teaching everything in small, everything in lowercase. Yeah, so this was it for this session. Thank you for joining in and bye bye, see you next time.